Hello and welcome back to another character preview video. My name's Lumin and today we're having a look at Redfall. This is an open world single player and co-op FPS from Arkane Austin, the award-winning team behind Prey and Dishonored. The island town of Redfall, Massachusetts is under siege by a legion of vampires who have blocked out the sun and cut citizens off from the outside world. Explore the open world and immerse yourself in a deep story campaign as you unravel the mystery behind the vampire's appearance. Ally with a handful of survivors against the creatures threatening to bleed the town dry. I've been following this for a while. I've been watching all the promotional footage and all the rest, and it did look pretty cool. I realized that the launch has been a little storied, but I guess we'll see how it goes. Regardless of all of that, there are some pretty cool heroes that we can have a look at, and we're going to do that in this video. If you'd like to do a deep dive to discover more about the game itself, you can find some links below. You can check them out. Browse to your heart's desire, and as always you can find some timestamps that'll help you out as well if you'd like to skip between the different parts of this video. As one final quick extra that I'm adding right here in the introduction section, there are cosmetics in the game, and that's usually the kind of thing that I cover, but in Redfall's case you can't really preview them before you earn them in game. But the plus side is you can only earn them in game. There's no store to buy them from, there's no other means of getting them. Everything is available in the game. You can customize each of the characters. They all have a whole lot of different stuff that you can look at here. They've got outfits. You can only preview it by looking at that tiny little icon over there. And these can be found in the game world. There's headpieces. There's body sets. And finally, there are backpacks. Once again, they're all earnable in-game by just playing the game, unlocking them through gameplay, which is fantastic, but you can't really preview them in any way, so I'm not going to be covering them at all in this video. I will say, however, it's there, and the characters can be changed. They don't all look the way they look here when you select them. That said, let's jump in. We're going to start by having a look at Jacob, the Deadeye with an undead eye. This is Jacob Boyer. Jacob moves like a ghost. After years as a Special Forces sniper, he flipped to corporate contracts working with Bellwether Security. That gig eventually brought him to Redfall, where an encounter with one of the vampire gods left him with strange powers and a ghostly raven companion. Growing up as a foster kid, Jacob is used to tough situations, but the conniving vampires on the island will test his limits. His abilities are Raven, Cloak, and Heartstopper. You can see nice previews of the abilities right here. Raven, you command your Raven to fly towards and mark enemies. Holding Z will make the Raven scan for enemies near while remaining on your arm. It's pretty cool. I do think that a lot of these abilities help your party out as well. So as an example, the scanning will reveal the enemies to your friends as well, which is kind of cool. And that's something to keep in mind as we go through these characters. A lot of them work like that. Cloak. Activate Jacob's stolen Bellwether cloak to hide him from enemies. Attacking will deactivate the cloak and allow enemies to see Jacob again. That one explains itself quite well. Heartstopper. Summon a ghostly rifle. Use the sights to lock onto enemies, then fire to deal heavy damage. It's cool. It's cool. I think this is probably going to be one of the most popular characters. He just has that look about him. Alright, next up we have Layla. Layla Ellison. The telekinetic threat in student debt. I love it. I also love the colors. I think this is fantastically done. The aesthetic, the colors, the look and feel of the game on the surface level is awesome. I can't get enough of it. Layla's mind is a telekinetic weapon. She came to Redfall to attend the local university, but after volunteering for a shady medical study by Avum Therapeutics, she emerged with some of the vampire's amazing psychic abilities, though none of their appetite for blood. Her graduate school plan was to study vascular mechanics on her way to a biomed degree, all in the name of helping people. Now, thanks to her special powers, Layla finds herself in desperate struggle to save the remaining survivors living in the shadows of Redfall. Her abilities? Lift. Summon a psychic lift that launches you into the air. This also works for your friends, by the way. Umbrella. Summon a psychic umbrella to block enemy and friendly projectiles. Press Z while active to release a psychic blast that damages enemies. Pretty cool. And finally, Vampire Ex-Boyfriend. Call in a favor from your ex-boyfriend Jason, who happens to be a vampire. He sort of jumps around and attacks everyone. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool. I'm beginning to imagine that this final one is the ulti, sort of like the ghost sniper, the vampire ex-boyfriend. It's the ability that you need to charge up to use. That said, let's jump on to the next one. Devinder. Devinder Dev Crousley, the verified cryptid hunter. Dev is an internet famous, quote-unquote, cryptid hunter and ghost chaser. From his home in the UK, he spent years documenting the weird and the hidden. After visiting Redfall to promote his latest book, like a Mothman to the Flame, Devs find himself trapped with no way to stream to his eager fans. Relying on his eccentric inventions to confound and destroy his enemies, he's as shocked as they are to discover that, at last, his fringe technologies actually work. One part terrified, one part fascinated, Dev searches for a way off the island, or at least a way online. Fantastic backstory. Very relatable. Arc Javelin. Throw a javelin into enemies or surfaces to create a lightning hazard that will zap nearby enemies. It looks really cool. Translocate. Toss out a translocation beacon you can teleport to by pressing X a second time. Allies can use the translocate terminal you leave behind to follow you. As always, it seems like most of your abilities do help your friends out. And then we have Blacklight. Use Devinder's heavily modified camera to rig a powerful burst of UV light that petrifies vampires and staggers human enemies. Once again, looks really cool. Like visually, they've nailed all of these designs. Super cool. Super, super cool. Finally, we have Remi. Remi Del A Rosa, the ingenious engineer. I don't know if I said that right. Remi has dedicated her life to rescuing people from disaster zones. The vampires are admittedly a new twist. As a combat engineer with a degree from MIT, she and her prototype robot, Bribion, were an obvious choice to train Coast Guard personnel in Redfall on a bot-assisted search and rescue. Once again, I butchered that word. I realize it. It's fine. As the eldest in her family, Remi sees herself as a protector, the one to rely on. She will use her technical expertise and everything at her disposal to try and help those trapped on the island. Except the bloodsuckers. I'm starting to think that this is a little unfair. It's like you've got the internet celebrity and Remi here. They don't have special magical powers. What? Okay. These guys, the first two, Jacob and Layla. What the heck, man? Okay. C4 charge. Let's not get into that right now. Toss an explosive device that sticks to targets and surfaces. Once armed, press X to detonate. Command your bot, I'm not going to say the name again, to distract enemies, making himself a target and absorbing damage. Oh, that's kind of cool. And then finally, that's called Siren. Mobilize. Create a rallying point where you and your allies are healed over time. Okay, so she's actually like support and tank in one. I really like that. I think that's a nice little combination. And you can see that each of these characters has abilities that sort of work together with the team. They work well in co-op, so it's probably the kind of game you're going to want to play with people, so you can get a nice little mix going and hopefully complement each other. And with that said and done, we finished. We've had a look at all of them. They look awesome. I am a big fan of the design and the aesthetic that they went with for this game, but I mean, I thought from the very first trailers that we saw that all of that was, without question, perfect. Like, they did good videos, great cinematics, everything they showed off was stylistically perfect. Like, it was just great to look at. However, obviously, when it comes to gameplay and the actual game itself and the world and the mechanics and stuff like that, it could potentially fall flat on its face. We don't know. I'm going to wait and see, and I'd like to, with all of that said, ask you guys to weigh in. If you've played this, I would love to hear what you think of the game. How's the gameplay? Is it fun? Is it something that you've actually been enjoying? Is it something that you need a friend for? Like, there are lots of games out there right now that feel kind of lonely when you play it alone. And when you actually add someone to it, it mixes up and changes the game almost entirely. Enough so to make it a worthwhile experience. I'd love to hear from you guys what you think. And on top of that, I'd love to hear which of the characters appeal to you. Jacob, Layla, Devinder, or Remi. I'm sort of stuck between... maybe Jacob, Devinder, and Remi. I love Layla's look and feel, but it's just not my type of thing. I like the idea of the bot and the healing and the support stuff on Remi, but like, come on, man, a ghost sniper rifle. Oh, how can you say no to that? And then the hacks seen through walls. Oh, they made this guy a little too good. And it's, as I was saying, it's like Jacob and Layla have these like special magical powers. Then you got this guy with his like stupid contraptions and his E-fame. And then the little girl with a little robot toy. How's that fair? How is that fair at all? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check back here soon for more. Give it a like and share it and do all that other good stuff. I am once again very pleased with how these characters look, and I like the idea behind all of them. I just hope the game lives up to the cool design that they threw in here, because it would be a real shame if one comes without the other. So there you go. Once again, happy creating those characters. Happy that.